and welcome to the Morning DNA. I am Aaron Dyster, the man of a single black shirt. She is Danae Hughes, the woman of a million distractions.
Oh no,
including confusing her own camera. She'll get there, but you got to hold your hand up there for a second. Ready? See? No, all the way up towards your camera, so your camera sees your hand. There you go, and then it clears it all up. So you just got to give it time to do the auto thing. Anyhow, we're going to find out what February 22nd
is made
2021 is made of. Welcome.
1.
One. Thank you for the those in the live chat already who have asked how I'm doing. I'm doing great. Was I doing really poorly last week? Was it last week I was doing? Like, I don't remember ever doing poorly. I remember I had lost my taste.
You told everybody you had COVID and you lost your taste. So I think there's just genuine concern about your well-being.
Last week. That was last week. Okay. See, like it goes so fast. I for whatever reason was thinking that was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, no, I'm feeling great.
Sure
my taste is back. So yeah.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah.
That's huge news considering we were all a little bit. I was wondering if it was going to come back because I've got friends who took months and months before it came back.
Yeah.
So for you to be able to do updates throughout the week where you're like, I'm at 60% flavor.
That's right. I'm not sure if I'm at 100%, but I'm close. I'm at least 95% back taste wise. So yeah. Greg says, hello from snowy Wisconsin. We've got so much snow here, we don't know where to put it. So anyone want a mail order? I didn't get to read the rest of that before Danae clicked off of it. But
does anybody want a mail order of the white stuff? Lolly says, is it made of cheese?
Got it.
Yep. And also, yes, I am in a new location for those that are viewing visually. So usually I'm in my recording closet, which is through that door right over there. And we realized that my recording equipment will probably work out here too. I can still hear a little bit of echo, and so but we're not doing radio here.
Right. You're not doing voiceover where it has to be, perfectly pristine. You sound great. Any little bit of echo is just you and I are probably the only ones who hear it. In those with headphones on that are listening,
So we just I realized I could be a lot more comfortable sitting at my desk in my space. So here I'll go to a wide shot you guys can see. So this is the room, and that's the closet that I used to be in through that door over there. You can kind of see the puppies' heads in the puppy.
The puppy corner.
I should just pull out so you can see them sleeping out over here. But yeah,
well, this also opens up the opportunity that your puppies will invade, right? Like that they will want attention at some point and some want to crawl in your lap.
There are benefits to recording in a closet where you can close the door, and that goes for Iris too. Like for example, if we ever record a show and it's like the middle of the day or she's here or something, you can hear her as she comes the door and just bangs on it like, I'm dying without you, mother. Why aren't you giving me attention? So there are dangers for being out here. But so far, I'm really enjoying it, and you guys get to kind of see my space. I've been a little bit motivated the last few days to make sure that it wasn't cluttery because I've been moving a lot of things around. So, and I'm a clutter pile girl. So,
I mean, it is incentive to keep your office clean too, right? Like
it is, which is great.
That's a nice thing.
Can I tell you something?
Sure. Yeah, please.
Okay. So over the weekend, I was connecting with a friend of mine to talk about our Dungeons and Dragons game and just like kind of figure out some details and stuff. And I woke up really early in the morning to do so. So I made myself my coffee. I set it aside, blah, blah, blah. I come back in and I hit my coffee press. It shattered, full of coffee, full of boiling like hot water all over the floor in here. So I no longer have a way to make coffee, except for this morning, I took a strainer and a really good quality cloth. I put the ground beans on top and I made myself a 1 cup pour over, and I haven't tasted it yet.
Fun.
So anyway, I'm thinking about to be real proud of myself because I don't want to get a coffee pot. I like my press, but I also do not want to go shopping. So I've got to do some online searching. And I'm trying to not order a whole bunch of stuff right now since, it's just snow and chaos everywhere. And,
Yeah.
all of the delivery people are just like, please
Stop
stop
ordering
ordering
things.
packages.
Yeah.
I'm like impulse buying. I impulse bought like clay to make stuff with my kid. And then 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I could also order this. It's just like I'm an insane person just ordering stuff. This is actually something I would.
Would you please take a sip of that coffee so we know how well the pour over worked?
Actually, it tastes like soap.
It tastes like whatever the cloth you strained it through was washed in.
Yeah, it's a little bit laundry detergent-y.
Listen, when you have an addiction, sometimes you just have to do what it takes to fulfill that addiction. And
that is
sometimes
strange.
soap is the cost that you pay.
That is strange.
For fulfilling your addiction.
Whew, and I really enjoyed that Jose is here live for the first time. So
hey,
great first show.
Welcome.
Or is it Jose the third? I'm not sure how to say that.
I think so. Jose the third.
Jose the third. JCD fails to see any issue with seeing Iris or puppies. I can appreciate that.
Well,
Caleb also said
that's just a lack of imagination, JCD, at the end of the day, that you couldn't see any issue with that. It's just a lack of imagination. Yes. I like it. I think it looks great. I'm glad you're kind of in your comfy space and not closed up in a closet. And
I don't mind it in there. It's just I have less room to kind of spread out. I was very cramped. And also, I just don't like the color in there. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Hey, podcast listeners, how's your day going?
And Doc says, we're in the last week of February. Dear Lord, you are correct. Last full week of February is one of my favorite weeks of the year. And I think
Why?
Let me tell you a couple of the reasons. Number one, it usually indicates spring is close, and I love spring. So, Danae, did you need to talk? Do you need to say something?
No, my extra button was like, and I kept wanting to interrupt you.
Oh, well, feel free. Hey, listen, it's your show as much as mine. So just interrupt. Just interrupt.
Just keep saying why. But then I realized I also was triggering myself because I have a almost 4-year-old and she does this a lot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, excuse me.
You're seeing yourself in your child, and then maybe changing your behavior a little bit. No, but I like the last week of February because it indicates spring is going to come soon. And also, there's something about the shortest month of the year where it's like, oh, we're moving faster. Like, this is amazing. Like, it's so exciting. There's only 28 days in this month. And like, monthly paychecks coming sooner. And, like, I don't know. It's interesting in that way. So, yeah, I really like the last week of February.
See, I don't think about spring until I see spring. I don't think about it like on calendar terms. But that's because there are times living in this area where it doesn't matter that this is almost March.
Yeah,
we're in for some more.
Listen, I've been here for over 10 years now. And has it snowed in March? Sure. Is it gone in a day? Yep. So like, even if we get like one day of cold weather, once you hit March, it's going to be warm within 48 hours. It just is. So yeah, I really dig once, kind of we hit this place, because I am not a fan of winter. If you ranked my 4 seasons, winter would definitely be at the bottom of my seasons. I love the snow. I think it's pretty.
It's so pretty.
It's really pretty, but
until it's not pretty anymore.
But it is cold, and I am not a fan of cold. I will take hot over cold every single time. But that is me.
I like Doc's comment. We're getting into March, which means it'll be June, which means December, which means it's 2030. Fast! I hate it.
I'm ready for 2030. 2030 is going to be awesome. 2030, we will be very close to our first human on Mars.
Oh my God.
Which is really exciting. Like the next launch window is in the early 2030s, where you can send a human to Mars with like the least amount of energy.
Oh, shoot. 2030, when we finally get to play D&D together. We're going to be so close to our first Dungeons and Dragons game, everybody. It's going to be amazing.
That's right. Oh,
no,
I'm excited about 2030. Can you imagine the advancements in medicine we'll have by then? Like the idea of possibly nanobots, like that you can put in like inside your body that will help like cure all sort of like maybe even de-aging, like they'll work on your genetic structure and like, man, I'm
Aaron,
excited.
you said years back that we were going to be in self-driving cars already. So do you think in 2030 it'll actually be happening?
Well, let me be clear. We do have self-driving cars, but there are 5 stages of automated vehicles, and stage 4, stage 4 is the most important because stage 4 is when you can take your eyes off the road, and stage 5 is when you don't even have a steering wheel. But stage 4 is very, very important. That is coming probably within the next decade, is what they're saying right now. But it takes people getting used to it. It takes the laws to govern it. It
takes the nanobots. It takes
the
robots.
No,
it takes the Mars rover bots.
So this is one of those technologies that already exist, and we're just waiting on implementation. So that's with automated vehicles. So
yeah. Here I was trying to razz you, and you're like, "Let me come at you with some facts."
You can't razz me about the truth.
I just love that when we first met, like 10 years ago, you're like, "It's coming next week."
3D printing is the other one. Those are the two that I always talk about, the technologies that already exist that we just have to figure out how to implement even better. So, yeah.
Yes. For those of you guys just coming in, I am in my office. The closet that I was recording in is adjacent to it, and I am enjoying it. Congratulations for being able to like show off the room, Danae. Thanks, Danae. You've been working hard, Danae. Sure have, Danae. So I kind of have it all pretty much where I think everything is going to go, and you guys can just play seek and find as you look around the chaos that is my display room. So yeah, this is not a green screen. This is my real life. Although it would be kind of an interesting green screen, right? Like just taking pictures of people's their studies and slapping them up behind me as if it was mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we just found a new incentive for our amazing Team DNA members.
What's
we'll put your office behind us.
I love that. Yes.
Once a month, we'll take one of our Team DNA members and you send us a picture and we'll make it our background.
I super love that.
Man, I love hanging out with you guys. I just realizing I missed a bunch of comments because I had scrolled up and it wasn't
popping some on.
Yeah, I saw some of those. Okay. So yeah, very nice. I like this. This one makes me smile from Greg, who has told us that he is sight impaired, is blind. Says, Danny, why is the room you are in so pink?
Greg.
Love it.
We should have an entire show that's just describing everything, just for Greg.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I will tell you, Greg, it is a much deeper room. Back to the corner, there are a lot of posters on the wall that you can see now. There's a Cinema Sins poster. Danae's head is blocking the TV Sins poster, as well as the rock band poster from when you were in a rock band there for a moment. And then some art that I believe Danae has painted.
Yeah.
That is up on the wall as well. And then a lot of little knickknacks and cupboards and that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. There's bookshelves filled with books and knickknacks. There's an entire bookshelf, like 4 shelved bookshelf that has just nothing but memorabilia in it from my entire life. And yeah, then I have like little dogs in the corner that are curled up around each other, staying warm.
Yeah. Yep. It is a brand new day, and you ready to shoe a dough? You want to shoe a dough?
Let's shoe a dough.
All right. Let's do it. We're going to do what? What are you thinking?
My FAQ is in the closet.
You're in the wrong room, Danae. Run, Danae, run. We're going to kick it off with the FAQs. Those are I love how long your headphone cord is. That's amazing. You didn't even have to take your headphones off.
No, I could hear you the whole time just in case you threw shenanigans at me.
I do have a tendency to throw shenanigans. We're going to take a look at the friendship application questions. This is from Danae's friendship application. And what do you got? You're into the paragraph section of the FAQs. So what's our essay for today?
Okay. This is the second to last question of the second to last page.
Okay.
We're getting there. Okay. This says, what are your gifts, talents, and passions?
Now we're getting serious.
Yeah. So the last part of it, I mean, obviously the first part just had crazy, silly stuff in there. Let's just do like a real quick, like memory back. Favorite thing about your right index finger. Favorite thing that your index finger likes to do with your nostril. A superpower that you have that's not working right now. We've gone through all kinds of fun, random, silly things. But then, yeah, I guess it takes me about 7,000 pages to get to like one or two kind of more serious notes on brand for Danae. So, yeah. So what are some gifts and talents and passions that you have? That's one of the questions that will be on the digital FAQ when we eventually create that.
All right. This is, do you get awkward when people are like, tell me what's good about you? Because I think a lot of people do. And I think we need to get over that just a little bit. There's a difference between being full of yourself or bragging and having a conversation about what you're good at, which is perfectly fine. One of the things that makes humanity so beautiful is the idea that we're all good at different stuff. Like, that's incredible. It allows us to work together to accomplish even bigger things because we're good at different stuff. So, yeah, what things are you good at? Where are your talents? What are your gifts? I would love to see some of those for you. Dexter says one word: technology. Yes.
Yeah, Dex is a tech guru. If you have tech questions, you can send them to Dexter. Also, continue to send him some love because his dog continues to try to heal.
Andy lives in Texas, so there's that as well.
Not Andy, and he.
And yes. Do you know the old hymn, and he walks with me and he talks with me?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was Andy for a long time.
Did you really?
Wondered who Andy was. Andy walks with me, Andy talks with me.
So we've got angels to think about. We've got Andy to think about. There's Jesus. There's all these people to think about.
Elizabeth says, writing whenever I'm actually inspired to write. Awesome. That's very, very cool. Let's see. Nick says, you know that guy who had a movie quote for every situation? Obi-Wan quote. Of course I know him. He's me. Very nice. Delivered in a metaform, which is always appreciated. Doc says, what's good about me? I can eat junk food and not feel guilty about it. And I know that's a really bad thing. The not feeling guilty about it is okay. The eating junk food is okay. Being healthy is, everybody's got to figure that out for themselves. But I think if you turned that into an understanding of yourself as someone who is comfortable being themselves, like that's a perfectly valid thing to talk about. So
update on the coffee, just real quickly before we go on to JCD's comment. Still doesn't taste like I thought that it should, but I've now grown accustomed to the taste and flavor, and it's not horrible. It's just a little note of soapy flavor still. I just wanted to give you that update. Nice. But I'm almost done with my coffee, so what does that say about me? I don't know. I'm willing.
You're addicted to coffee, and you're willing to have it taste like soap. That's. I mean, I don't know that there's any question here.
I am willing to do a washcloth pour over for my coffee. That's what it says about me.
It's gone from an appropriate clean cloth to a washcloth. Just pulled it out of the shower this morning. Who knows how long it's been used or for what? Just set it over the cup.
Oh God. JCD says, I'm pretty good with plants and I love reading about history.
Nice.
Greg says, Andy's candies are the best thing ever. That's all I know about Andy. Hate Ego says, I'm good for a laugh, usually through my own ignorance and blunt statements. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Ooh, Tyler says, I can lift heavy things.
That is a gift.
Yeah. And good about talking about J-Dog and positivity to a fault. Lifting heavy things is a really helpful, especially if we're all going to have to come together in some sort of community living situation in the apocalypse. So your skills are needed. Can lift heavy thing. Good. Breezy says passion is family, writing, and crochet. It Don't Connect says, I have yet to meet a cat that I haven't made friends with. You're cat whisperer.
Feline friendship. It works.
Matt says, my talent, I can bend my ear into my ear hole and hold it into place. What a
Well,
talent.
Matt, listen, we celebrate that talent for sure.
In the
But
apocalyptic end times, there's a place for you.
for sure. Like especially with all the debris and dust in the air, like you'll keep your ear canals clean. Like, this is a gift. This is a way to do it.
I can relate to this one from Jose, who says, I believe I have a talent for immediately wanting to be friends with people, even if they take a bit to get accustomed to me. Oh, I feel that one deep in my soul.
Yeah, I don't have that. I do not have that. And so I am in awe of that in many ways. Yeah, for sure.
Alan says photography and writing.
This is true. This is true.
And that's the last one. Since I have a new setup, I can't see around my stuff. So I'm constantly like.
It looks like your microphone is like setting a screen on you, like to where you can't get to where you want to be.
Yeah. So
we may need to do a little work on the setup.
Got to figure out the setup, but that's okay. So, Aaron, how would you answer this one?
Well, there's so many things.
Is that how you would start?
That's right.
Well, first,
let me say it's hard to choose amongst the variety of ways that I am gifted and talented.
Well, first, can I add pages to the end of this application?
I think for me, communication will always be towards the top of that list. The idea of using words to express an idea or to make someone laugh or make someone think, that is something I've really enjoyed and developed over my life. So I see it in how I write when I write comedy, how I write when I write philosophy. I see it in how I speak when I'm in front of a group of people. So yeah, communicating ideas through words, word usage, communication. I make words do stuff.
I like to communicate with my mouth and my hands, and sometimes with words on paper.
Doc is correct, Aaron. My best feature is my pride. I am I'm really great at arrogance, and it's just one of my gifts. So
great at arrogance.
Yeah, totally. It's a gift. For sure.
It is a gift. Congratulations.
But yes, I think that's what it comes down to. And that shows itself in other things I love too, like acting or singing or, just any of the performative arts.
I like that this had gifts, talents, and passion. Like there's three sections to it because it doesn't so you might be talented with communication or gifted in communication. I guess they kind of both go hand in hand. But you could say a talent of yours could be just something that you've worked towards that you are talented at. Like for example, for me, I think I have exhibited talent for creating music, but I haven't done that in a long time. But I would still say that I have a talent for music. When I pick up my guitar and I start to play, I hear music and I want to sing and I want to do these, so that's like a talent of mine. But I think a gift of mine, I would, like I already said, piggybacking kind of on some of what was already said. I love meeting people and having conversation and just being able to slip into humor, but then also slide over into more serious stuff and draw people into some sort of a deeper relationship with themselves and the world around them in a way that they didn't expect. I just have always had a gift for that. And I think that's something that you kind of experience as you kind of age. A passion though. Aaron, what are you passionate about?
I am 100% passionate about storytelling. I love the idea of communicating meaning and truth and message and humor through movies, TV shows, songs, conversations. Yeah, I'm very passionate about, big conversation, I'm a big message guy. I love philosophy, and I'm very passionate about having those discussions. It's one of the difficult things about the world we live in currently, in the heightened level of divisiveness, is I think it has allowed me to miss out on a lot of great conversations because more and more people are fearful to have big conversations.
We talked about that last week.
Right, because you're fearful of getting shoehorned into a certain type of person, or now you're on this team or that team. And so I think, I know for a fact I've had fewer of those conversations. And well, of course, we've all been trapped in our homes here for about a year, but I've had fewer of those conversations over the past 3 years than I used to be able to have with not just friends, but even acquaintances. You could have like deep, meaningful conversations with people you just met. And there's not much as much of that anymore.
Yeah.
So I do miss that, because that is what I am passionate about, is pursuing truth together. Even if we don't agree on something, let's figure out how to talk about it in a way that we can try to find the other person's view, and where we meet and where we don't. And I just love that stuff. So some people would call that arguing, and they don't enjoy it. But
yeah.
whatever.
Greg says, I'm passionate about self-esteem, something that is lacking very much in today's society. People don't value themselves as they should. And yes, we are not to think of ourselves too highly, but we also shouldn't have a low image of ourselves. That's really interesting. That's kind of what I was thinking too about, like, my passion. I kind of get on that same vein that you're talking about and Greg is talking about, in a way where I'm very passionate about people's right to change their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I had this revelation when I visited this hippie place when I was in like my late teens.
Was that what it was called? The hippie place?
It was called the Grove.
There you go. Yes.
There were definitely a variety of people there. And
it's like a commune?
Yeah, there were people that lived on the land. Yes. And then they would also have events where you could kind of come out, and there were drum circles and delicious food and just deep conversations.
Like a Burning Man, light kind of idea?
No, more like taking candles to the river.
Okay.
On rice cakes so that they would dissolve and feed the fish, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But anyhow, there were these thought process that we would go through. Like, we would think about things together in like these circles and just talk about like deep conversations. And one of them one day was like, you can choose to re-choose. You can say that you believe something or think something and you really mean it, and then just a few minutes later realize that you've changed your mind. And even though like there was just so much in my life at that time that I thought that I had to be a specific way because I had said so, or that someone else had said so about me.
Right.
And so that really started my path in my late teens to just adamantly champion for people's right to be whoever they are and to go through whatever process they individually have to go through, no matter the topic, whether it's self-esteem or religion or just anything. And that's helped me a lot because it almost gave me permission to just be myself. And it's strange, but sometimes we need to hear someone else give you permission to be who you are. And so I am I'm really passionate about that. So when I think about like, if you don't know what you're passionate about, to me, one of the signs of it is if someone starts a topic and you just like you just can't stop.
You mean
talking.
like driverless cars?
Right. Yeah, for real. Yours could be like tech. You know?
No, I'm definitely passionate about technology too. I think it's such a beautiful thing. But
anyway,
yeah.
Thanks, guys. That was really great. I loved that you all felt comfortable to share something about yourself, and we missed several. There was a really funny comment made by JCD asking if singleness can be a gift, and then Nick responding, as a married person of 12 years, yes, that is a gift.
Now, wait a second. There's a lot going on here, but I do just want to say, speaking of passion, singleness can be a gift. It absolutely 100% can be. And in fact, I wish more people would understand what it means to be fully actuated as themselves, that you do not need a significant other to understand who you are and what your purpose is and what your passion is.
We should have like we should have something that we could do on our screen where when we hit a passion conversation, which that would be one of them, it's just like, alert, alert, alert.
That's right. Alert, soapbox baby coming. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it could be like beauty standards would be one that we like just jump off on.
Right.
The definition of who you are, because you have to be in a relationship to be meaningful.
Yeah.
We jump off on that real fast.
Yeah, so. I think we spend so much of our lives as humans trying to figure out what's going to make us complete, and we don't understand from the moment we are born, we have our entirety of our value built within us, and it is a beautiful thing. So
just unlock it. Get creative.
Just acknowledge it.
Make yourself some sock coffee. That's what I'm going to call this. I'm going to call it the sock
You've
coffee.
gone from a clean and appropriate cloth to a washcloth you grabbed from the shower to a dirty sock you found in the living room. So I think we're getting closer to the honest
The
truth of what
truth about
happened
what I used.
and how Danae got her
I
coffee
actually
this
took a
morning.
picture though, so I can prove it.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway.
All right, let's get into the D and A and U. We will have a D topic, an A topic, and a U topic. The D topic stands for Danae. That will be her topic. The A topic stands for Aaron. That is me. And then the U topic is anything that you want us to talk about. Any question you have for us, any topic that you want to discuss. Just put a U at the beginning of your chat, of your message in chat, and we should be able to pick up on that. We'll kick it off with the D topic today. What do you got for us this week?
Well, I think we're kind of continuing in that deeper conversation vein. So
fun. I love it.
You all have kind of already shown an ability to self-reflect by even knowing these deeper things about yourself. That shows that you all are capable of kind of like holding a mirror to yourself and seeing the positive things that you are and being able to like comment on them. My question is, what mirror do you use when you self-reflect? And what I mean by that is, do you compare yourself? Like, is your mirror your peers? Is your mirror like a reading material? Is your mirror based in religion? Is your mirror based on like deep philosophical conversations with hippies in the woods? Like, how do you kind of reflect on who you are and areas of your life that you want to improve on? I think another place that it could be also is like television shows or movies.
Sure.
I think about Up for me. Inside Out for me as one of those that accidentally ended up teaching me something about myself because I had a very unhealthy relationship with sadness that movie revealed to me. And then I immediately put sadness in a box and kicked her out of my life while watching the movie so that I could not bawl in the anyway, it was a really meta moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I bring this up because I was having a chat with a friend of mine, and I'll tell a story while you guys kind of think about what tools you guys are using. But I have a friend of mine who last week she contacted me, and she was like, I'm just going through something and I can't put my finger on it. I can't put my finger on what it is. And she just began to say things like, that she needs to work harder, and someone had given her some advice, and she was thinking about just redoing everything that she had been working on for years because this person had given her some advice. And she was really just absorbing, trying to find an answer to change. And I thought she was self-sabotaging. And I was able to kind of use that lingo because of a system or a tool that I sometimes go to. I've talked about them before, called the archetype. And this is the idea that we all share certain attributes of our personalities called archetypes. And that there's a positive part of that archetype, and then there's like a negative part. And sometimes the negative part is in full-blown power over that moment, and self-sabotage is definitely one of them. And so I just wanted to kind of show you guys, since I found my cards and I wanted to show them to you. These are not tarot cards for those of you guys who are like, oh my God, she's busting out the tarot cards. I don't have tarot cards. These are meant to just be conversational for when you're doing inner work.
They do appear a lot like tarot cards. Like they're
huge.
Yes, because they're big and they have like a figure on them and a word and pictures and yeah.
So this is what they look like. This is the saboteur card. And it's just something that you're meant to, like, when you're thinking and you're reflecting, you're holding on to it. And tactileness as you're kind of working on stuff in your life can be really helpful too. So we all, according to this theory, share a sabotager in our person. And the good part of this sabotage part of ourselves is that if we are doing self-sabotage work, you can recognize it a little bit easier, and you can even see it in other people. So it can kind of like bring to light a fear of self-empowerment or change that's happening in your life. You can kind of recognize, I'm afraid, and so I just want to kill it. I don't want this, and I deal with this one a lot, right, Aaron?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
I kill a lot of emotion. I kill a lot of momentum if
Well,
there's something new, I'm
you were
like,
just
nope.
talking about Inside Out. You're dealing with the same thing with WandaVision right now, which is about a lot of those same themes of denial and repression.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I agree with Wanda's situation. I'm like, yeah, girl, build yourself this crazy world and hide
Where
away.
everything's perfect. Yes.
So I struggle with this personally because I sabotage myself a ton. And it just is helpful to kind of go, oh, so that's the good part of it. The darker part of it is, I mean, you guys can make the assumption that you are induced to like self-destructive behavior or even a desire to undermine other people. Like really bad is you want to bring other people down with you. And you can see this a lot in bad patterns of others, I'm sure. So I just wanted to bring up, I mean, guys, look how many cards there are.
So basically
there's a ton.
You showed me this deck before. Basically what I really enjoyed about this is you're looking at characteristics of what it means to be human. There are so many different elements of, there's so many different personality traits, so many different things about what it means to be a human being. And what this has allowed you to do is you use it kind of for self-reflection. It allows you to go, oh, this is this part of me.
Yes.
And here's how this part of me can be positive. And here's how this part of me could end up being negative. And so I want to bring light to this part of me, if that's whatever this saboteur part of me is, whatever this architect part of me is, whatever this, whatever character trait you're dealing with, how can I best understand myself in a way that is positive on the world around me? I think that's really beautiful. So
I want to show you guys one of my other, and so the idea is that we all share some in common, like the saboteur, but then in all of the other ones as examples, there are other ones that like I might have as a character trait that Aaron might not have. And just to kind of prove that this isn't like a set thing, they also have blank cards where you can make up your own just as life goes on and you realize that there's something. So this is just a tool. But here's one of mine I struggle with. Are you guys ready for this one? The Fool. Okay, so the light attributes is fearlessly revealing emotion and helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. I do that. Let's check out what happens on the dark side. It says, I don't know if it's going to work, living, using humor to wound rather than liberate, in denial of your emotional truth. Hey, Aaron, do I do that?
Yes.
Yeah, man, I will easily just redirect into like, let's just laugh and have a good time, especially when you're hitting on stuff that I'm just not ready to handle yet. So this system has been really, really helpful for me because it's very artistic. I can pull them out and read them. And there are some that I used to struggle with or used to think were parts of my personality that I just don't anymore as time has gone on, because I've had these for probably 15 years now. So I've opened up this box and read through them multiple times. But anyways, I was curious what you guys are using. I used these to kind of, in a moment with my friend last week, to sort of highlight the saboteur. And then I went through just listening to her going, oh yeah, you might be struggling with this too. And then just sent her some pictures just to self-reflect as she had the time to do so. And I was kind of curious what you guys had going on in your lives.
All right, I'm going to put some up then. Tyler says, my mirror is my son's eyes. They are the same. Also David Crowder music.
Dude, that's a good one, Tyler.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Man,
I think
that's so real.
We brushed on that earlier, talking about seeing yourself in your daughter and how that, changes what you do. Jose says, my mirror is very much my walking relationship with Jesus Christ and the family and friends I see living in Christ. The idea of looking to others in our life who we think are having a positive impact and are following the things we believe, and using them as kind of a mirror and saying, how do I compare to that? We have to be careful. Anytime we use another human being as a representative and as an example.
How hard was that lesson when I realized that I was following a person and not God? Like, woo, that was a big one for me.
Yeah, I think just always be careful when you're using other people as that reflection, because they are in fact human beings.
Flawed. Except for me.
Elizabeth says, I've had to learn to stop comparing myself to my friends and how they've accomplished life. So now I just use my past self as my mirror.
See, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yep. I was thinking that when I dropped my coffee on the floor and it shattered everywhere, like old Danae would have been like, like literally
Mhm.
screaming and mad and just chaos and just angry, and all of that emotion would come up. Do you know what I did? I was like, well, that's the end of that. Without any emotion, I turned around, walked out, went and got huge things, came back in and dealt with the issue.
Mhm.
Didn't say a word, didn't feel the rise in emotion. And Elizabeth, I had the same thing happen to me where I literally was almost, I was comparing my now to my then, going, wow, man, I've grown a lot. I'm
Mhm.
I'm really proud of myself.
It's a good one. Let's see. The Slindamon says, my mirror is usually in my work, which most would say is unhealthy, but for the kind of work I do, it's meditative. So yeah, no, listen, as with most
Uh-huh.
of these things, the mirrors can be both healthy and unhealthy depending on how you use them. This goes for actual mirrors as well. I think this is
Like
one of
those
those
funhouse mirrors.
understanding what distortions may be in the mirror you're looking at. All those things are important. How you use the mirror, like I think like there are some times in our life where like you don't want to look in a mirror because you're just like, I'm not happy with myself right now. I don't want to,
Yeah.
I just don't want to see. And those are the times to wake up, to be aware and to be okay, what do I need to deal with? Like, what do I have to, figure out here? Yeah, that's why the mirror is a really good metaphor. It's a nice kind of thing to look at. Let's see what Lolly has to say. I'm a podcast listener, but I've started purposely turning them off when I walk the dog to become more comfortable with silence and allow my mind time to wander and really let
Ooh.
myself feel what I'm feeling. 2020 was a really hard year, and I developed a habit of hiding from what I was feeling. In tough times, we put up walls as a coping mechanism, which is fine for a time, but now I'm trying to mindfully let myself start to feel again.
Oh,
Really
wow.
beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that.
Hmm.
I am feeling emotions rise inside of me, and I'm feeling my eyes start to tingle a little bit. So I'm just going to shut that down.
Are you?
Okay, I have officially shut it down. The tears are, I'm going to trying to suck them back into my eyes,
Yeah,
but
that's a little more difficult.
it's
The tear
really
ducts
hard to
aren't built
do.
to
Like you
built
can
to do
tell.
that.
Like can you tell?
Yeah, you're
Look.
glassy. Yeah, you're
Look.
definitely glassy for sure.
Ugh,
No,
what did you do to me, Lolly?
it's important.
Gah.
It's valuable.
No, no, no. Can I remind you about the fool? Um,
But
I
I
do want.
mentioned a lot of that because the work thing, like, mentioning most people would think this is unhealthy. Well, using your work as your mirror can be unhealthy. There are certainly many ways
Oh
that
my
can be
gosh,
unhealthy, but there are also many ways in which you can have a better understanding of yourself by comparing yourself to the work you've accomplished or what you're doing. So, yeah, absolutely.
I love that sitting in the silence too. Um, that was a really powerful. I think no matter what you do, as time goes on, I hope that whatever mirror you guys are using to reflect is something that highlights the things that you're doing well. And that's one of the things I like about this system is that it's like there's something good happening here too. And
Hmm.
sometimes you have to struggle to shine the light and move it back over to using those gifts or talents or whatever you have towards that good rather than sinking into that kind of more shadow aspect. But we all struggle with it and it's okay. And thanks, guys, for letting me go a little bit deeper this morning,
Oh, of
especially
course.
also sharing the archetypes because I know sometimes people get triggered. Here's what the box looks like, by the way. It does look very tarot-y, but it's not. And the author is Carolyn Miss.
Hmm.
And yeah, if you guys want to know anything else about it, you know how to
Well,
contact me.
you bring up an interesting thing because, we talk about the positive and negatives and, when you're talking about the box being triggering because it looks like tarot cards or
Yeah.
whatever. And, you and I both grew up in a situation where, anything new agey or,
That
touchy feely or
not a Bible.
not that wasn't a
Anything not
Bible,
the
anything that
Bible,
wasn't a Bible,
which is right here, guys.
was,
Just so you know, calm down.
possibly satanic and all those kind of things. And so, that makes me think even further on this topic, like the mirror of accepted, cultural ideals, is an interesting mirror that we use. The mirror of, you could say the church or whatever, like becomes this really interesting positive, negative thing, like where you can allow it to define things based on just how people, believe, not necessarily on anything you find true or anything you've come to, the journey of truth for.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, I really like the topic. Very nicely done.
Hmm.
What?
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay. You've got something to say, but
No,
apparently
I
you don't want to say
do.
it.
I do, but I don't know if I should. And so I'm trying this thing called self-control, and it's very difficult.
Whoa. Wow. Craziness. Well, do you want to go on to the A topic then?
Let's do it.
All right. This is my topic for today. Much less philosophical. We've had enough philosophy for today.
Yeah, enough deep thought. Let's talk about chocolate.
What's a purchase that ended up being better than you thought it would?
Chocolate. I didn't know what your topic was. I literally just threw that out. This light's gonna make me
This
crazy.
comes from recently pulled the trigger on an air purifier to get for the home, and Danae dealing with the sun right now. If you wondered what that noise was, and you're listening to the podcast, right? Danae was trying to figure out how to keep the sun out of her eyes.
It's a new day, y'all.
So anyways, we bought an air purifier recently.
How'd that go?
And I was like, oh, that would be something that would help keep dust, down, that kind of stuff. And it has turned out to just be this amazing gift. We move it around the home, like, for different rooms that, we want to clear out. Like my wife is now, because she's doing, anatomy classes, she has like, dissections to do. And like the formaldehyde smell and that kind of stuff. Like
Hold up. Got a question. So she's learning at home.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Nurse stuff.
Yes.
It's time for anatomy class.
Yes.
It just send her a frog or
pig. Yeah, fetal pig.
You have a fetal pig.
Couple of them, yeah.
She's dissecting in your house rather than like in a lab.
Heart, and yeah, they send you all the stuff that you have to dissect, but you turn your kitchen into your lab.
With no one around to help you, you're just in your kitchen, like cutting into a pig?
Sure, why not?
What do you
mean? We can do this.
She's going to be a nurse. What do you mean, like, no big? Fast forward.
She's videoing. Like, like somebody will have like instructions for her.
Yeah. I'm doing great. And like the pig has no head.
I'm not sure what your like. Why couldn't you learn that? Like you could learn anything remote. Like I don't understand like what your issue is. Like what why is that different than learning math remote?
Mm-hmm.
It's all
scalpels. First instinct is scalpels. Second, I would. Second, I mean, I have multiple thoughts, but like, so first was scalpels. Second, I was thinking about like engine repair. Like someone just sends you an engine that you have to repair, and that seems to me, not as big of a deal as sending like a body of a thing that once lived. I just feel like. There's life involved that's the factor. I am genuinely sweating. I feel very uncomfortable right now. Well,
she's dealing with the basic anatomy. It's not like she's dealing with a surgery class. She's dealing with an anatomy class.
No,
she's learning about the parts of the body and like she's not dealing.
Doesn't it feel weird to be like, hey, we're gonna send you a pig. Just dig in there until you find something interesting.
There is a lot about this past year that has felt weird, Danae. Like it is just people have to do what people have to do, like so.
But can't you just be like, we're gonna put anatomy on hold a year. Let's go to, I don't know, diseases of the skin for a little while, and we'll look at pictures of boils for a couple months, and
how much better is it to have an actual specimen to look at and to like figure out and to understand? Like she's like, again, we're not dealing with like once she gets into more of like the specific, nurse like practice stuff. Obviously, that's going to be in a hands-on lab with a somebody guiding. But like this is just like find the heart, find the stomach. Like it's not like. That
in your kitchen.
In your kitchen, yes. It is weird. I'm not saying it's not weird. I'm just saying it's completely appropriate. It's not inappropriate in any way.
I mean, could you ever go into that kitchen again and be like, you know what happened right over there on that table?
You know why I can go into that kitchen again very soon after she's done? Because of our air purifier. And that's what I'm talking about. The fact that this thing has become just this beautiful gift. And it works so well, and it automatically detects like whatever odors or particles are in the air.
Hold on. Now we have to ask this question. So, did it correctly identify pig carcass?
No, I'm not saying like a little reading comes up with like, you are dissecting a fetal pig. No, that is not what happens. I just mean,
I'm sensing decay.
right. It
Death.
senses the formaldehyde in the air and pulls it out. That's all I'm saying. Like it turns itself up based on the level of quote unquote contamination in the air. And it operates really, really well. I've just been really, really impressed. And I wish we would have had an air purifier sooner. It's this beautiful little machine. So anyhow, that's where the question comes from.
All right. Now,
so yeah. So what about you?
Okay. Well, I can't stop thinking about you dissecting pigs. So
JCD says, I got an air fryer before Christmas.
There you go. That's the answer. That's
I can tell you that it was one of the best purchases I've ever made. I may have only used it twice, but I absolutely love it. I've heard you can do air frying in some, what are the Instapots to have built-in air fryers in some of those.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
I do love my Instant Pot. That probably is one of those things that I didn't know if it was a good purchase or not. Everyone was raving about them. And so I thought, okay, I'm dumb when it comes to cooking. Let's just try this. And it does make me feel very confident to try recipes. So maybe mine will be an Instant Pot.
Nick says, I recently bought a Japanese animated movie called Your Name. I have a rule about not buying movies I've never seen as a safety from owning bad movies and a way to save money, but I loved it. Watch it. Nick, you'll be happy to know I have watched it. And I too think that is one of the most amazing movies I've ever seen. I love Your Name. It is a great, great film. So good purchase. Good purchase.
I'm trying to look through the comments, and I did myself a disservice, I feel, in turning them off while I've been talking to you, which I love because I'm super honed in on this.
What did you like? Hate Ego's Silence of the Hams in the Diaper House?
Hate Ego! No! I have to go to your house in the future at some point in time, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get comfortable.
Well, you'll be happy to know I was just kidding. None of that stuff actually happened, and
there's no piggies.
You can just put it in that category of denial. And
okay, I'm gonna text your wife and just check.
It was all joke. It was all joke.
Hey, how was your anatomy class? And if she responds oink oink, I'm gonna flip out.
I bought my wife a birthday flower and bear set for her birthday 10 years ago. My son has decided this year that the bear is his bear and has to have it to fall asleep. This is what I'm talking about. Like gifts, like the common cliche phrase, the gift that keeps on giving. Like the idea that you have something, you thought it would do something, and then it's been so much more. And this is a great example of that. This bear has become so much more than you expected, and it's a great choice. So yeah.
Wow. It's just all pigs in my head, man. I'm undone. I'm sorry.
Get over it.
I know. I do.
All right. Elizabeth says, wasn't really a purchase, but I decided to have my hair cut really short back in July. And I feel so much more confident with shorter hair. That is awesome. Very nice.
So cute.
Nick says 2 words, sweatshirt blanket.
Sweatshirt blanket.
Yeah. Like it.
Okay, well, that's my distraction. I'm leaving now. Sweatshirt. What is this? I'm looking it up right now.
Lolly says, "Oh, do you want to describe what you see?"
Oh my gosh, I need one of these so bad. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I know what I want.
Well, but not now, Danae. You already talked about not ordering things now. You gotta wait.
Right. Okay.
You gotta wait. Lolly says ours is probably our Traeger smoker grill. It was secondhand and still super spendy, but it's amazing.
It's amazing.
I just love that feeling. I love that feeling of you invest in something you think is going to be worthwhile, and it ends up being actually more worthwhile than you thought. I absolutely love that. So,
we're just showing the big 10% off. That's not great. I'm going to decline this offer. There. Yeah. Look at that.
See, for the podcast listeners, today is now showing us the sweatshirt blanket.
Look at this thing.
Yeah.
It's a massive. It's like a sweat.
It's a fluff parka. That's all that is. It's a fluff parka.
That's it. That I couldn't figure out how to describe it. That's exactly right. It's a massive parka that is lined, but then it has that hoodie pocket in the front that you can stick your hands into, like a little warmer.
Yeah, you can curl your legs under. Yeah, it's a fluff parka. That's definitely
That was
what
a
it is.
fantastic thing to discover. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ready for some you questions today?
Yeah, let's
All
do
right.
it. I've actually got a couple of one from Tyler and one from Dexter that I saw just a moment ago, so I will have those at the ready. But for those of you
Cool.
guys that haven't done this with us yet, we are happy to take your questions. You can ask any question or ask us to talk about any topic. Doesn't mean that we will, but we will do our very best to
We
answer
pretty
your
much will.
questions.
We're not scared.
We really rarely skip over
No,
them.
I don't think it, only accidentally. I don't think there's
Yeah.
ever been a you question where we've been like, nope,
is-
not this one.
Just a testament to you guys asking
Yeah.
appropriate things. Well, actually, no, I can think of a few that we've skipped over.
Can you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they involve.
I remember we had an inappropriate
circuses,
commenter once,
clowns.
but I don't remember that.
This one is from Tyler, who asks, "What episode / decade of WandaVision would you want to live in, and why?" Now, this is a little spoilery for WandaVision, so we have to be careful because there's some people I know are not watching it yet who want to like wait for it all to come out and then binge it. So
it's only spoilery in the fact that we will be mentioning specific eras that the show touches on.
Which isn't too spoilery because you kind of know.
Spoilery.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about plot movements or those kind of things. I
would want to live in anything that's self-empowering for women.
So the later the better.
Sometimes I will watch old shows and be like, "Oh, that's cool," or "Wow, look at this world that they lived in." But then I put myself into the kitchen, or I put myself into the situation where I have to wear like corseted clothing and specific shoes that don't show too much ankle, and then adhere to the social norms, and I instantly want to burn the place down. So yeah. Some people are like, "Oh, if you could travel back in time, where would you go?" And I wouldn't, because I would be considered a witch and immediately murdered. So
same answer, different reasons. I am a firm believer in the idea of progress, and the idea of any time thinking the old days were better is not a full assessment of whatever old days you were speaking of. I genuinely believe things continue to get better. As technology progresses. So yeah, I would be the most recent possible is what I technically would live in. Now, if you're asking what is fun for me, that first Dick Van Dyke type episode was really fun for me just because I love that show so much. But that's a different question. So not specifically what you're asking. So
okay.
So I guess the answer would be Modern Family, because I think that's the most
recent. I was thinking the same thing. I also like how she's just like, "Okay, kids, go," and she's just like eating cereal out of a bowl. That's very much a me moment.
Yes.
So I can relate to that. This one's from Dexter. "Speaking of passions, have you ever ran across an expert in your passion that dwarfs your knowledge?"
Oh, of course, yeah.
"Do these moments stifle your passion or stoke the fire to know more?" Good question.
This is a great question, and I have different reactions depending on the passion. Now, Danae, you've seen this happen where I will get into like a video game or a mobile game, and I'll be like, "Oh, this is fun," and I'll start thinking of all the ways I can do better at it and be amazing at it, and then I'll watch one YouTube video where somebody is like killing it, is like the best ever, and I'll be like, "Oh, well, they've already got that covered. I'll go on to something else."
I have watched you do that.
It's like I'm not interested anymore. This game that I loved, I'm just like, nah.
Instantly, it's just killed.
Somebody else has, already done more than I will ever even think of doing. So yeah.
But then when it comes to like radio or something like that,
right,
you're willing to learn from someone who obviously has more experience.
Yeah, totally. There are certainly. I am put to shame often with my movie knowledge with friends that I have, and I gravitate towards those people because I love, the idea of not only having somebody who knows more than me and that I can use as a resource, but also just somebody who inspires me to continue to know more about what I do and about the work that I do as a movie critic. So yeah, absolutely. I find it inspiring in some cases, and in other cases, it just shuts me down. So yeah.
I think
sometimes it's a little bit of both. Sometimes like I'll watch somebody review a movie on YouTube and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm never going to be that. So why am I even trying?" Like there is that element of professional jealousy-ish a little bit, like that idea of well, if I can't be that, what am I even doing? And
Yep.
so yeah, but you just
I have
process
that
that stuff.
too. I definitely have that too. Um, I think it's hard for me because there are a lot of things that I've picked up that I'm just naturally good at. And so, of course, I kind of like stayed in that wheelhouse for a long time. And then there's things that I struggle with really intensely. And so, it's taken a lot of like deep work and admission to kind of go, oh, this is ego driven. I don't want to be bad at
Yes,
something because I feel like it makes me look bad instead of
right,
allowing myself to be like a noob.
right.
Um, one of the areas I really don't mind ever being a noob is like in the video games where you start level 1 and you kind of give yourself permission to suck because you can start over again and then like you have these save points.
Hmm.
But for whatever reason, it's taken me a long time to shift that over into my real life where I'm like, no, there are just save points. Like for example, with guitar, a save point would be when you realize that you have really thick calluses and that doesn't hurt anymore. Like you don't have to, if you keep practicing, you'll never feel that again. So you kind of hit that moment.
Hmm.
And then, or a certain song that you know, don't have to look at the chords anymore because you just memorized it and
Yeah.
you've kind of hit that level, and that just takes time. But it's definitely, not as easy as video game playing. So
Yeah, I have a U topic from a little bit further up.
okay.
Says, U topic, where is an area you think differently than other people in your church or Christianity? In other words, it's really easy to be a robot in society. What other people, with what other people think and feel, where's an area you feel differently than people in your church or other settings? I wanted to address this and first of all say this is such an important and valuable question, because the idea of groupthink and the idea of here's how you have to believe to be part of this group, this idea is one of the scariest and most dangerous things I think we can face. And we talked about it a little bit earlier as well. And if you are not in an environment where you are allowed to think and process and have your own journey of truth, then I think it can be a very condemning environment. There's not a lot of process to have there. So I really do appreciate the question.
I'm gonna answer this one.
Well, that's fine. Before you do, though,
Bravely, boldly, here I go.
before you do, though, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that's fine. Before you do, though, Greg, I do want to challenge the assumption that in every quote unquote, whatever the church is or whatever Christianity means to you, that there aren't already people who feel the way you feel. This is one of those assumptions we make that I think is part of the danger, is we feel like we're the only one. And I can tell you for a fact, just based on my own friend circle, that there are, people from the Christian faith who believe all sorts, of different things about all sorts of different topics. And I think those conversations are important. So go ahead,
Yeah,
Danae. Go
I'm
ahead, get
not really
bolder.
going to give my list, but I have a list. It's been something that has been developing and growing since I was very little, because I was born a woman, and I was born into a church environment where women were not considered equal, and so I've been fighting against something like that from a very, very young age. So, but here's the fun part: every church or religion thing is different, and so put me into a different church, totally different experience. So I think
Sure.
it's mostly just this is true for me for all kinds of things, but yeah, there's a lot of things that
I have
that
two answers
I've
I can give.
realized as life is growing up that's based on like people trying to create an environment of safety for religion rather than God's environment. And so God's environment and man's environment are very, very different. And
Mhm.
Christianity, I don't think is meant to be so divisive. I really don't. I think it's like, can we achieve perfect Christianity? I don't think so. I think people are broken, and you're going to put a whole bunch of people together and they're going to make a rule that guys and girls can't be in the same space together because God knows what could happen for safety reasons, but it ends up just harming. And I think it's just a lot of fear. People are fearful of each other. They're fearful of being messy. They're fearful that if they do something wrong, they're going to go to hell. And it's so much pressure that it's just designed to be a very complicated environment when you put people gathering together to try to understand God. And so no matter how you would answer this question, I think people are going to think differently, all kinds of stuff. And if you're in an environment where everyone demands that you think exactly how they do,
it's not a healthy environment. Let's just
you're
say
in a
it.
cult.
Yeah. You're in a cult. Yeah.
You're in a cult. So careful.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
I would, if you want a direct answer to this, I would say a lot of mine has to do with language. I think there are, but again, I know so many Christians who, understand that it's attitude, not the actual words that your mouth makes that are important. And so swearing is different for different people. And so, yeah, I don't consider like any type of words like bad words or those kind of things. And then the other one that I feel pressure on sometimes is political. A lot of the modern church has connected itself to a certain political party, and I just don't buy into that. I am fiercely independent politically, and that's because I don't believe we can all fall into two categories. How is that even possible with all the issues that we talk about, that every single person would fall into one of two categories politically? That's just silly.
We've just done something that I said I would never do. We just talk politics and religion. What is going on?
Look at you being open to new things.
What is happening to me? Here's one from Steven.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite author or book besides Jeremy Scott?
That's a good question.
I do. I have favorites. One of my favorites, so I'm going to go to one of my favorite like fantasy authors, like high fantasy, like think Lord of the Rings style author, is Guy Gavriel Kay. Just how his descriptions and how he weaves his story together. He has a trilogy that I fangirl over. And then I found him on Twitter and I had that weird moment where I was like, oh my God, I could follow Guy. Which is just stupid. I mean, but yeah, he's one of my favorites. I've loaned his book out and I've purchased the trilogy 6 times and loaned them out to people thinking that I would get them back. They don't come back. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means they never read it and they forgot. I have no idea. I also forget who I've loaned it to follow up with them. But I love it so much that I'm like, take this and read it. But it's high fantasy, so it's not like a sci-fi. It's definitely not like like a true story. It's not like, so it depends on like your style of reading. But I really like him.
When I was reading back in the day,
when I was reading.
No, I genuinely liked basic answers like Grisham, like John Grisham and Michael Crichton, like, some of those basic answers.
How has that changed? You're in a pandemic. How can you not be reading?
My reading is I just don't read a lot of books.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say some of the books I've read recently that I've really enjoyed have been by Malcolm Gladwell. I like the way he thinks. I think he's very outside of the box. He's a very independent thinker. I enjoy that. So I like Gladwell stuff, and other philosophy stuff. I could say, what I should say is I like stuff by, Plato and, Socrates.
Is that a Mattel Plato?
Yes, Mattel Plato. Yes. Exactly.
I like reading Plato too.
Kierkegaard, Nietzsche.
That's very, very impressive, Aaron.
Thank you. That's all I needed. I just needed to.
You want to do another one?
Oh yeah, we got.
I've got time.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine hanging out. Let's see.
Some mornings we got to bounce, but we got a little time.
Jose says, "Have you ever realized that you had an encounter with someone before you officially met them? I recently learned that a friend I met a few months ago was actually on one of my cave tours 2 years ago back when I worked at Silver Dollar City. Beautiful cave there at Silver Dollar City, by the way. It's one of the best parts of the park. Marvel Cave.
It really is impressive.
You could fit the Empire State Building in this first open area of
Which
Marvel
blows
Cave.
my mind. Is it? No, it's not Empire State. It's Lady Liberty, right?
Statue of Liberty?
I think it's the Statue of Liberty.
I just knew it was like you could put a whole thing in this underground room.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Growing up, going to Silver Dollar City, didn't realize that was impressive.
Yeah, I've probably been on Jose's cave tour as many times as I've been there.
It's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a completely random thing, but this is true.
I have an answer to this question, but go ahead.
Y'all can think this is a bunch of whatever, but this is an actual true story. True story. I have had dreams that have come true several times in my life. which is one of the reasons that I believe in like supernatural stuff, because I've had it happen to me. It's debatable. I don't, it's fine. You guys can think whatever, but this is what happened.
Sure.
When I was in middle school, I woke up one day, I had a really vivid dream, and the dream was I was walking to school from a very specific place. Like I was walking by the track and field, and this guy ran by me in red shorts and a blue shirt, and he almost ran into me. And when I woke up, I was like, that's weird, because I've never on that side of the school. I'd never approached school that way. I'd never walked that way before. But that day, we took a walk as a class, and I walked that same exact direction. I wasn't paying attention. I was in the back of the group. I was by myself because I had no friends. And that's also true. I'm not exaggerating. I had no friends. And so I was by myself, little lonely Danae in the back, not paying attention. And somebody ran off of the track and almost hit me and was in red shorts. So that was an interesting day, one I've never forgotten.
A premonition, if you will.
I've had several of them now. It's really unnerving, especially when it's the sky is burning and there's crows everywhere.
Especially, Aaron, when it's me standing over your open grave.
I'm in the kitchen with a scalpel. There's a pig there.
You know how I feel about premonitions. I think the brain can be a tricky beast sometimes, but yeah, we've had that conversation. You know,
I know you're my friend who, I'm going to use the word discounts, but not. You discount my
your
weird
journey
things.
At all. I don't discount what it means to you. And
but you've also been in the room when I've said and or seen things that you're like, how is that happening? Or I've had a premonition about something that's going to happen. You'd be like, how did you know? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. You've had that happen. You've had it. It's been there. You've blocked it because you're freaked out by it.
Okay.
Again, guys, I would be burned at the stake instantly.
Right. Yeah. My answer to this question is more along what you're talking about, Jose, which is this idea of an actual. Because in today's example, not only did she not meet the person earlier, she didn't even meet the person later. Like, this is a person she never even met. You know, it was just a premonition she
He's
had.
also going to be like, and it actually never happened. It was all a dream.
Listen, I did not say that. No, but the members of CinemaSins is a really interesting one, because being friends with Jeremy from CinemaSins through college, I went and visited him in Nashville, and he was working in a movie theater, and he introduced me to other people working in the movie theater, including a guy named Chris. And I didn't think a thing about it. And then, 6 years later, now I'm working with them on CinemaSins, and it was like I had this previous experience meeting this person, and I didn't even know it. So I know that feeling of, it's like, that's so wild that we've actually met, and now we're like in each other's lives.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Let's see. JCD says, question, what is something you do when you feel out of focus? I always take hot showers, but I'll take a cold one to snap myself back into attention. Cold showers are great. Oh,
That's
man,
brave.
cold showers are great. Yeah, I do
I don't like snow, but I love taking a frigid cold shower.
I mean, it's painful. It can be painful, but there are so many benefits to taking cold showers, not the least among them environmental benefits.
Just go roll in the snow.
That doesn't get you clean.
Also, you can't. Especially not in my backyard, man. My backyard's got
I do a little jig.
dog presence everywhere.
I do a little dance to get myself back in focus. If I'm feeling a little lost, I will
actual dance.
Yeah, like a little, like a workout. Like I'll start like kicking my knees up, and like I'll get my heart rate up a little bit. Maybe running up and down the stairs a little bit, just kind of get myself moving, get the blood flowing. So I'll feel like my belly fat, and I'll like jiggle it, or like make it like bounce around, and fun stuff like that.
Super. Super great.
Listen, you asked. Listen,
How have I never seen
show.
this? We used to work together like 8 hours a day in a studio. How did I never see this happening? Did you just do it in private?
No, I've certainly
always awake.
Done a little jig in front of you. So
I've never seen you do like hop, 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 and then grab your belly and wiggle it around.
No, it's letting gravity move it.
And then,
it's not like,
afterwards be like, I'm much more focused.
pay attention now, Danae. Pay attention now.
Okay. I will. My answer to this one is, what is focus? Let's start.
Fair answer.
Let's start there.
You do like stretching exercises.
Yeah.
I've seen you do this to focus yourself.
But that's not really focus. That's more like my body needs to move, and so I'm gonna just stretch and move. Like I do when you said like take hot showers. I do like the thinking time in the shower, but I also am hyper aware of like water waste, and so I don't let myself take long showers. And I also feel guilty when I fill the bath. Yes, that's me, but I don't know. I don't know that but I love the focus time in the shower because it's just quiet. Kind of like I've got you got your little routine going, and it just feels good to have the hot water on. And I have really hot water, and so it's like just baking my skin, which makes my muscles feel good. So yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should think about that. But then again, I don't know when I need to focus. Yeah. I guess I do this. I do that a lot. Don't I?
Yes, you do.
Focus.
Yes, you do.
Focus. And I just I do this thing with my hands, and I just try to like envision that like beams of focused energy are coming out, and then I just take a deep breath. Sometimes I'll walk out of a room and walk back in a room. So yeah, I guess I do something.
Jose says 20-minute nap will give me energy, and that exact timing is important to just do it for 20 minutes. Jose also, by the way, confirming you are correct. It is the Statue of Liberty.
Also confirming, yes, I am bored. No, I'm just kidding.
You're bored? No. We can stop. We can
This
finish.
is one of my favorite shows we've done so far, actually. And
nice.
I love spending time with you guys every Monday and someday, but we probably do need to get back to our regular.
We will finish with this. Lolly says, when my high school boyfriend first went to university, there was a guy in the next room called Crazy Nick. We met again a few years later at a New Year's Eve party. I no longer call him Crazy Nick. I now call him my husband. So there you go.
Cool. I went to high school with my husband as well, and we had barely any interactions except for one day I asked who was wearing the cologne, and it was him. And I was like, I like it. And that's like the only memory we have of interacting together. He was incredibly shy. I was incredibly angry and out loud and extra and rebellious. And so we had nothing in common except for a choir. We were in choir together. And yeah, we met years later and we're married.
Yeah, I married my high school sweetheart. We started dating with... You just told basically the same story, you silly girl. You're not allowed to do that. You can't do that.
I can too. You know why? Because it's trolly and I love it.
Yeah, you do.
No, you can do it. Yeah, go ahead.
We didn't date until I was a junior in high school, but we met when I was in 7th grade. And I remember the day I met her that I told my parents it was the kind of girl I wanted to marry someday.
That's the kind of girl I want to marry someday.
But then what does a 7th grader know?
Nothing.
Nothing. But apparently everything, because we now are happily married for 26 years, going on 26 years. So,
I remember the first time I saw you.
And on that note, on Danae's old man imitation of me, we will finish this thing up. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this Monday. Yes, we will go live every Monday and also some other days possibly. So you'll need to be subscribed and hit the notification bell as well so you know when we're going live. We appreciate you. You can follow us on Twitter at Aaron Dicer, at Aaron and Danae, at Danae Says. And yeah, you can also support at patreon.com/StudioDNA. You can join Team DNA. We are 8 members of Team DNA away from doing some, what do you call it?
Dungeons and Dragons, Aaron.
Dungeons and Dragons together.
The devil's work.
That was correct. Yes, Harry Potter, Dungeons and Dragons, tarot cards. It was all Satan.
We're doing all of that.
It was all very much Satan. So yeah, we will catch you on the next Monday or someday.
Bye. Have a good day.